The World Health Organization Wednesday hailed the breathtaking steroid treatment for the coronavirus, boasting hopes that pandemic deaths can be reduced, but a growing new cluster in China sparked fears of a second wave of infections. Surging death tolls in the Americas and South Asia, plus a new cluster of cases in Beijing, have raised fresh doubts about how soon the world can bring COVID-19 under control. In the latest sign of the economic toll, U.S. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell warned that the world's biggest economy is unlikely to recover as long as there is significant uncertainty about the pandemic. The World Bank said Wednesday it would provide $400 million to support universal health coverage in Egypt as the country struggles with rising numbers of new COVID-19 cases. The bank said in a statement, the funding will help Egypt increase the reach of its universal health insurance system in 6 governorates and offer temporary financial protection to those hit by high out-of-pocket health expenditures linked to the coronavirus outbreak. Egypt's health ministry has confirmed 47,856 coronavirus cases and 1,766 deaths, with the daily increase in cases rising in recent weeks as the government has slightly eased some restrictions on movement. Officials cancelled scores of domestic flights in and out of Beijing on Wednesday as they ramped up attempts to contain a coronavirus outbreak in the Chinese capital over the past week that has sparked fears of renewed wider contagion. Health officials recorded 31 new confirmed infections for June 16th, bringing the cumulative infections since Thursday to 137 cases, the worst resurgence of disease in the city since early February. Aviation data tracker VeriFlight showed that the half of the scheduled inbound flights and 40% of outbound flights from Beijing Capital International Airport, one of the city's 2 major airports, have been or will likely be cancelled on Wednesday. South Korea confirmed 43 new cases of the coronavirus on Wednesday, raising the country's total caseload to 12,198. The Korea Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said the death toll rose by 1 to 279. A continued rise in cluster infections forced health authorities to indefinitely extend toughened infection preventive measures in Greater Seoul this week, following a 2-week implementation. Health authorities warned that the new scheme could be applied across the country if the daily number of new cases does not sharply flatten down the road. New COVID-19 infections hit record highs in 6 U.S. states on Wednesday, marking a rising tide of cases for a second consecutive week as most states move forward with reopening their economies. Arizona, Florida, Oklahoma, Oregon, and Texas all reported. South Korea confirmed 43 new cases of the coronavirus on Wednesday, raising the country's total caseload to 12,198. The Korea Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said the death toll rose by 1 to 279. A continued rise in cluster infections forced health authorities to indefinitely extend toughened infection preventive measures in Greater Seoul this week, following a 2-week implementation. Health authorities warned that the new scheme could be applied across the country if the daily number of new cases does not sharply flatten down the road. New COVID-19 infections hit record highs in 6 U.S. states on Wednesday, marking a rising tide of cases for a second consecutive week as most states move forward with reopening their economies. Arizona, Florida, Oklahoma, Oregon, and Texas all reported record increases in new cases on Wednesday after recording all-time highs last week. Nevada also reported its highest single-day tally of new cases, up from a previous high on May 23rd. Hospitalizations are also rising or at record highs. A hospital representative said at Arizona's Tucson Medical Center on Monday, just a single intensive care unit bed designated for COVID-19 patients was available, with the other 19 beds filled. Brazil has reported a record 34,918 new COVID-19 cases the same day. A senior official helping lead the country's widely criticized response to the crisis said the outbreak was under control. Brazil, the world's number 2 coronavirus hotspot after the United States, is fast approaching 1 million cases, although experts said the true number is likely higher due to patchy testing. Brazil also registered 1,282 COVID-19 deaths since its last update on Monday, the health ministry said on Wednesday, bringing confirmed fatalities in the country to 45,241. Health officials said on Wednesday a rash of accounting glitches in Chile led to the omission of more than 31,000 confirmed coronavirus cases, or nearly 1/6 of the country's total so far. Authorities said the cases discovered during a review of the health ministry's database stemmed back to mid-March when the outbreak began in Chile. The accounting confusion comes as cases are soaring in the South American nation, averaging over 5,000 daily. On Tuesday, Chile reported a total of 184,449 infections and 3,383 deaths from the disease. The addition of 31,412 cases discovered by authorities will be added to Chile's total tally on Wednesday. New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern ordered the military to oversee the country's border controls Wednesday after a mistake that allowed 2 people with COVID-19 to leave quarantine. A 24-day run with no new cases was broken Tuesday when it emerged 2 women who recently arrived from Britain were allowed out of quarantine early without being tested for the virus, even though one had mild symptoms. The pair were eventually swabbed and proved to be infected, but only after they made a 650-kilometer road trip from Auckland to Wellington to see a dying relative. Premier Ardern said it was absolutely nonsensical they were not tested earlier and border controls clearly needed to be tightened.